Hello, beautiful souls. So, it's been a couple of months since I did my vlog, and I'm getting in early for July because there is a lot going on, and June has been epic. It has been massive. Um, I mean, look, we've had 58 lifetimes in 1 month. In 1 week happens, it's like a month, and it's just crazy. But it's fucking 2020, right? Like this is it. Uh I've just been looking at 2021, 2022, and the thing is that we're at the beginning of the new world. Well, some of us have been awakened for a long time, and this is, we've been preparing for this. Uh, but then collectively, the world is broken. I mean, it's been broken for a long time, and moving into this new paradigm, it's going to take time. And I'm writing my 2021 energy survival kit at the moment, and looking at everything that's happening. And it's different to 2020. I do want to say that it is different. Um, where I'm calling it the year of adjustment. So and other things, but 2021 is adjusting and integrating to what has happened in 2020. Like 2020 for some people has just been, rug pulled out from underneath them, full blown dark night of the soul. It's been huge, and I understand. I've had many dark nights of the soul. And waking up can feel very painful. I feel like it's, that there's an element of, it's just a big rose bush, and cutting we're pruning. It's a collective pruning this year. I mean, I called this year the reckoning for a reason. I didn't just like think that it was going to be unicorns, because it's not. And for the next few years, we're adjusting to this. So this is the new energy, guys. Welcome. Welcome. There's nothing to be scared of or fearful of. I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting. Finally, like the world and the systems and the old shit is crumbling to give us to start rebuilding. Like this is what this is about. This is a rebuild. When you get Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn all together in one sign, which is extremely rare, and they're coming to rebuild, repair. Like this is what's happening, but it's not just going to happen in 6 months. It's not going to happen in 2 years. This is a process now, right? Pluto moves into Aquarius in a few years. Then, it's turbulent, but in an exciting, sort of innovative, revolutionary way, right? It's like pre 2020 world, post 2020 world. And it's going to take a couple of years to adjust to all of this. So anyway, like I can't just like pinpoint things because it's so big. Look, the eclipses have been massive. The eclipse on solstice. I don't know if you've watched some of my stuff, but I mean that's happening like twice in this century for a new moon eclipse to be happening the same day as a solstice. Like it was a big day. I had a great weekend, but the purge from that, you know, from a full moon to a new moon is waning. And when it's an eclipse, I just feel it to be amplified and intensified. And we are still in eclipse season all the way until the 5th of July, when we come to the final eclipse in Capricorn, the lunar eclipse in Capricorn. Now, interestingly enough, this is ending an 18-month cycle, just as 2 weeks ago did. The nodes are now not in Cancer and Capricorn. They're in Gemini and Sag for the next 18 months. So they're our ecliptic points, the nodes of the moon, right? That's why we have eclipses in certain signs. So they've shifted now, and they shift every 18 months. So that new moon eclipse at 00 of Cancer on solstice was the end of that Cancerian feel for the last 18 months of North Node, direction, purpose, destiny, fate, what we're here to do, nourish, nurture, Cancerian things, yeah? And now the moon is building, which I always, especially in eclipse season, always feel that divine, energy of the build, the wax. Love me the wax. Love me the waxing moon. And so, this waxing moon now is growing and growing, and she's going to explode full in the sign of Capricorn for the last time in an eclipse for a decade. Okay. So again, this is quite a big ending. I would be very, very vigilant to, really tap into juicy, deep, letting go energies for that full moon in Capricorn eclipse, right? Because this is the end of the cycle. Like we're ending on the full moon. And then from here on in until 2022, it's Gemini Sag eclipses, right? Which we've already had a preview, and the next two eclipses coming up later this year are Gem and Sag, which are a lot lighter because they're not angular houses, and it's not the mother and the father and the Saturn and the friggin' moon. It's going to feel better, right? And I could, I could talk about everything for a million years. I'm excited and I'm passionate, and I've just had a morning of channeling. I've had codes all over my face. I'm fucking writing, and I was like, I wasn't even going to do this today. I had no plan on doing this, and I'm like literally sneaking it in before kids get home from school, purely because I'm like, fuck, man, like, whoosh, 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 whoosh. That energy is just like, whew, it's amazing. It's amazing. So that's the nodes. We're coming to an end. So what do you want to close? What have you learnt the past 18 months? With Cancer being around nurture, hello, we were forced to lock down, go home. You've got to friggin' school your kids. You got to be with your kids more for some people that work full time. It was less about money, drive, success, Capricorn, patriarchy, old ways. This is what has crumbled. This is where all of these planets are, fucking breaking everything down. Because that shit ain't important. And I mean, and for some of us, I'm one of those people. I've never worked full time. Family is everything to me. I do have a Cancer moon, and it's in the 10th house though, so that's very ambitious. It's around my job. But, for me, like, your kids are small for so long. And for me personally, that's been a priority, is being around for them. And this 18 months, it's been a big taster of what's more important, money and status or family. And towards the end of it, the whole fucking world lockdown, right? Showing you what's more important. And this has been, such a rich time, a rich time, a time of nectar, a time of sucking it all in and really looking around you and going, this is what's important. This, the everyday, not looking for joy in these, extraordinary moments and extraordinary things, not feeling like you've got to come here and be Oprah. I've been saying this for like decades. Everyone wants to be Oprah. Well, I don't know. Maybe everyone doesn't, because there's all this weird shit going on around conspiracies and Oprah. Anyway, I'm not fucking going into that world. But the thing is that everyone wants to be famous. And sometimes your purpose is community. It's close to home. It's, finding peace. Maybe what you are actually here for is to find peace and to live a good life that aligns to you and your purpose. And that's what I love about astrology so much, is that so many people are square pegging and round holing their fucking life, like trying to do something that's not even for them. It doesn't even feel aligned, but they feel like they have to, especially in this spiritual entertainment industry, Read one book, I'm a fucking shamanistic, tantric, yoni, friggin' fireball of light language crap. And it's all, what did I say about this year? We're in the year of the rat, and the rats will rise, and they're fucking rising. And they're falling. They're falling because no longer, this stuff, this is the heart of what all of this has been teaching us about is self, alignment, sovereignty, you. And not everyone is here to be this ginormous leader. I need to take on the world and, pioneer something. If you want to do that, do. Like, I've cried many and many a time going, I can't not be this. I haven't tried not to be, because I've always been this. It's the only thing that I am good at, is being me and showing up as me. And it's been my whole life like this. I haven't ever dropped into what society expects me to do, or other people or family or parents or whatever. I didn't do the uni. I didn't do the typical things, right? And only because the only thing I am good at is listening to me and being authentic. Like that's actually it, full stop. Not good at anything else. Only showing up as me. Um, and so the thing is that I remember, just crying like, I can't get a full-time job. Like I can't go and just pack shelves. Not that there's anything even wrong with that. Like I've made coffee and I actually love shopping, and I was thinking I could pack shelves actually. I'm just saying long term. I'm just saying long term to try and fit into a society would crush my soul. So I've never gone there. Um, and you know, when you are on purpose every day, because you are your purpose, there is nothing outside of you that is your purpose. You are your purpose. When you are living your purpose, which is you, living from that space of passion and purpose with everything you do, this seeking of extraordinary moments to fucking change your life. It's the joy is in the ordinary. It's these ordinary moments that are the most exquisite. They're the juiciest. Let me tell you, the everyday is the enlightenment. It's something I've lived by for the 20 years I've been on this path. It's chop wood, carry water. Like that's what you do before and after enlightenment. And there's not this magical thing that's out there that's going to heal you, fix you, solve you. It's just not going to happen. Is it beautiful to have experiences and go on the retreats and things like that? Absolutely. But who are you when you're with yourself, right? Like who are you in your own four walls? This year is showing you who you are because you've been forced into your own four walls. So, oh God, there's so much to say. Anyway, like I'm just talking generally. I'm not even talking about July yet. So let's get into July, because I could talk about that for a million years, because it's so important and prevalent to me and close to my heart, is knowing who you are and knowing that you don't have to follow what other people are doing. And just because someone does a workshop and then all of a sudden they want to lead that workshop doesn't mean you then have to do that as well. This is about experience and about where you are being pulled, not where you think you have to go. And sometimes what you're striving for is the most simplest of things, but the human mind likes to overcomplicate it. And for me, simplicity is God, and complication is ego. So I do live a very so simple. I want for nothing. I simplicity for me is ease, it's flow, it's alignment, it's joy. I don't force, I don't push. If my body says stop, I stop. If it says move, I move. If I'm in the moment and the day is phenomenal and I'm being turned on, I'm there with it. I'm in it. I'm marinating in it. And if the next day it's not that, acceptance and flow and living a life of allowing things to be as they are instead of pushing them and forcing them to be something else. I mean, this year has shown a lot of desperation in the spiritual community, and I've just been sitting back and doing what I need to do quietly. Sometimes loudly, sometimes I'm on the socials, but my stuff doesn't. I don't need there's not a need to be shouting and screaming. The message is lost in that. The message is felt when you connect, right? It's felt. It's always felt. So let's talk about July. It is a really big month. Not that we need another big month, but it's big in a different way. So I've called it sort of a big month of healing and tending to yourself. It's downtime. There's an element of stillness. I always talk about no sudden movements, just being still. A lot of people are very uncomfortable in stillness, and a lot of people are very uncomfortable in not moving, not being busy, not hustling, not having a whole heap of shit to do. Those yang personalities are, coming under fire in this energy, because Mother Nature's energy grids are shifting. I've been doing a lot of work and with them and my own template, but there is something that's shifting so much, and there's auric fields that are broken around her, but it's okay. we just need to love her. We need to stand on her, be with her, and love her, because she's actually holding so much light and so much light frequencies coming in at the moment, that's, knocking people around. Like, one day you are feeling exquisite and the next day you're in bed sleeping, and it's okay. Again, it's okay. Like, we're riding 2020 together on a beautiful big surfboard, on a beautiful big whale. Let's ride a whale. Um, and it's just going with what comes up each day. But she's shifting, and uh, her own protective light ring around her when you get out of the atmosphere and see, it's unfreaking believable. She knows what she's doing. Trust her. And there's a real nature element of July too. So I'm really calling you and inviting you to be with nature, to be on her, to let her heal you, for you to heal her. With every footstep, it's a healing. I mean, July is very much a sensitive month of healing, of an amplification of light frequencies and codes coming in, purely because we're also ending the Mayan calendar and we have the day out of time. So, um, you know, Cancer season is emotional. It's Cancer cardinal. It's initiating. Cancerians are very ambitious. Some of the most exquisite leaders I know are Cancerian women. Um, there's this element of drive and ambition, and I have a Cancer moon in my 10th house, so I'm very ambitious when it comes to my purpose and who I am and how I show up. But yeah, there's a few things here in July for us to keep an eye out on, right? Overall, there's it's sensitive. Cancerian has this sensitivity. I often love to I dive into archetypes, but just even the symbols of the zodiac and the hard shell, and Cancerians can come across as there's this hardness, but of course there's this gooey, tender, juicy, delicious crab meat underneath. Um, oh, love it. So good. Um, I think you'd know what I'm laughing at. Anyway, yeah, so, you know, it's a tender time. It's a tender time to tend to you. Okay, so in the stillness, no sudden movements, be gentle. Yeah, be gentle in this Cancer season, in this July. Um, on the 2nd, Saturn re enters Capricorn. So we've got that Capricorn party going again with Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn all in Capricorn, all retrograde. This retrograde time is such a time of reflection, of going inside, internal. And here in the Southern Hemisphere, it's great because it's winter. So we get to really go deep into what's coming up for us, go into our own cave. There's magic within the cave, and what innate abilities and gifts and wisdoms and jewels do you have to bring forth once we get to the equinox in September. This is a time of gathering all of those, and looking at your shiny gems that you've got, and get ready to birth them in as we enter equinox in September, which is rebirth. Yeah. um, so I'd be very mindful of overreacting this month, being, too sensitive. Don't get caught up in, oh, but I'm sensitive, I'm not too sensitive. Just being reactive and being triggered by people, because the veils are very thin. We're in eclipse season until the 5th, but there's also this element of overreaction. We've got some very heightened stuff. The sun's in Cancer. We've got all that stuff in Capricorn. And while it's not opposing yet, come that we're having two Cancer new moons. We have the Cancer new moon on solstice at 0 degrees, and then we're having, which was an eclipse, and then we're having a Cancer new moon on the 21st of July, which exactly opposes Saturn, which Saturn's the father, it's heavy, it's authority. This is the sun and the moon in Cancer. soft, the mother, and Saturn is in his home sign of Capricorn going, right, you might feel inhibited or restricted, or, and he's also, the new moon's also opposing Pluto and opposing Jupiter. So things can feel bigger than they really are. This is a month to watch your emotions, emotional intelligence, not overreact, not take things personally. This is a great month to heal some of those things, heal where you do take things personally, heal where you are emotionally unsettled or unstable or ungrounded. Heal those things, because the I feel that Mars moving into Aries, which is a signature of this year, is it's very, very big, and I'm going to talk more on this at another time. But ultimately, Mars moves into Aries, his home sign, so he's dynamic, he's driven, he's a fucking warrior, my friends. Like, this is like full ball ahead. Like, this is starting a brand new 2-year cycle of Mars at the beginning of the zodiac. And he's spending instead of 2 months, he's spending 6 months in there because of his retrograde. So from now until September, you know, if you're feeling projects, if you're feeling things that you want to get moving, or if you want to get moving physically, or if you want to do some clearing or some healing, this is the time, because once Mars retrogrades, which I will talk about at a different time, things are going to heat up again. They're going to amp up again. We've got Mars, the planet of war, anger, opposing Pluto in Libra for a lot of my generation. If you're a Pluto Libra generation, pretty big stuff. Pluto can represent rage, and Mars can represent war. So there's going to be a lot of masculine energy to be looked at, a lot of our own inner anger and stuff. And this month, is sort of like the prequel of, okay, so how are you going with that? Because of course Mars and Cancer, Aries and Cancer square each other. So again, you've got that element of that Martian energy in a sign that squares where the sun is this month. So again, inner tensions, look at your inner world, be really honest with yourself about who you are, how you show up, how emotionally stable you are. And, it's very easy to deflect and project onto other people, but, this is about taking full emotional responsibility for you and the energy that you take everywhere, right? So, yes, so we're still in eclipse season to the 5th. The 21st is big. Luckily, it's pretty rad. Luckily, the new moon, which is a big one because of those tense oppositions to that Capricorn stellium. So yeah, well, the cool thing is to be honest, it's 3:32 a.m. So fucking, we're gonna sleep through that shit. It's great, But the 20th, you're gonna probably be feeling the build, and on the 21st, when you wake up, you will still be feeling it. But the thing is that at the exact moment that it happens, yeah, we're asleep. It's 3:32 in the morning. By the time we wake up, the moon will have moved into flipping Leo. So it's just like we might wake up and go, yeah, I'm free. Like, this feels amazing. But ultimately, yeah, that 20th is an interesting, as in the 20th of July, where am I? 20th of July, like the build will be there. So pay attention, yeah? And on the 21st, so I'm doing astrology, and then I'm ending this with a big thing of liquid crystal stuff because it's so important, and I really want to talk about it. So yeah, so this is a new moon in Cancer, our second new moon in Cancer in a month. So, it's special. It's intense, but it's special. So, this is really, again, this Cancerian. We're ending Cancer season with the Cancer new moon. Very, very interesting, actually, very fascinating. So take a breath, watch your emotional layers, watch your emotional reactions. But I mean, this sort of, like I said, this month, July, for me is like downtime, stillness. Yeah, it's an inhale month. It's a month where we retreat, we pull back. We're pulling back the arrow in July before it flings forward in August when we move into Leo month. And there's that dynamic fire energy, right? But we pull back in water energy before we shoot forth in the fire. Yeah. So really, can you do that? Can you sit with yourself and not project and not push and not force things to happen? If you want to get some momentum, absolutely. Mars is in Aries. It's going to give us an injection of energy. We're going to feel fucking great. We're going to feel on fire. Mars is finally out of drowning Pisces, and we can have a little bit of fire in our lives, right? Even in Cancer season. So ultimately, also, on the 12th, just so you know, Mercury moves forward. Of course, we've got Mercury retrograde in Cancer as well. So this is a very intuitive, watery month. Plus Neptune in Pisces is also retrograde. So there is a lot of emotion, a lot of watery feels. What does water do? Water can be a tsunami or it can be a lake. My big tip is just to keep moving, because when water sits, it becomes stagnant and it becomes rank, right? Like it becomes gross. So, we're made up of water. So if we're not moving and shifting, and that's a part of healing, Cancer season, this is a big part of the healing that we're going to go through in July. So move move the hips. It's feminine. Cancer rules the boobs and the bum and the hip. Well, it doesn't rule the bum, but it rules the boobs, right? But I just feel it in the hips, even though I know that Cancer doesn't rule the hips, but for me, it's the womb and it's that feminine energy. So, our life, breasts, hips, movement to move the waters. And if there's any stagnant energy, that movement can really clear us out. There's so much rich healing to have access to in July. So I invite you to lean into that, guys. Chiron actually, and again, because Mercury is retrograde in Cancer, it's very watery. It's lots of emotions. It's lots of feeling. Out of the mind into the heart. Trust your intuition. And then Chiron actually starts his retrograde the day that Mercury goes direct, and Chiron is that healer. So again, we've got this next 5 months of him being retrograde, of an inner discovery journey. And the main key that I want to say is with Chiron retrograde and with everything that I believe and teach and am and know, you, my friend, are your own medicine. And that is Chiron. I have Chiron directly on top of my sun in my natal chart. You are your own medicine. Take your own medicine, which is you. Take your own elixir, which is you. Chiron moving backwards in this time is about looking at your own. This is about wisdom, your own alchemical magic coming out. And then when he moves direct again, how you can be that, right? But this is like an inner discovery, diving into the caves of your own self, of your own soul, of your own heart, of your own nooks, of your own crannies, being brave and going there. Wild times. Wild times. You're your own medicine. You're your own medicine. Life is the biggest ritual. Life. The way you eat, the way you drink your tea, the way you drive your car, the way you offer up gratitude when you wake. This is enlightenment. Magic in the mundane is where it is at. And this new nodal axis of Chiron, Gemini and Sag, that's what it's pointing us to. Close to home is where you will find enlightenment. Yeah. So, yeah, wild stuff. So good. So exciting. So yes, nature is very, 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 very important in July. So please be with her, be on her. She's got messages to give you. She does. And she's going to heal some of your own fractures energetically. So be with her because she's got some rad shit to tell you. And guess what? She's free. You don't have to go and pay someone to be with the earth and to hear your own innate wisdom come through her messages, her divinity. We are in turquoise month. We have 2 months of turquoise, June and July. And so turquoise is around restoration. Yeah, we're restoring in July, balancing all aspects of ourselves. So there's an element of becoming whole in July. Yeah. Excuse me. And staying grounded and connected, aligned to you, your own inner compass, your own inner shaman. Chiron is the shaman. You are your own shaman. Yeah. So I just want to touch on, because I know that this is 30 minutes, but I want to touch on the liquid crystals. So from the 21st to the 25th every year of July, the next dimensional crystals in the liquid crystals become activated. Now they only activate once. 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th. 25th being the Mayan day out of time. The 26th of July is the Mayan New Year. Okay, so ultimately, interestingly enough, this crazy new moon eclipse, which opposes all that Capricorn stuff while we're sleeping, though, is happening on the 21st, which is Celestite Day, which is all about knowing. So when you do wake on the 21st, after it's been exact, this is a day that, you want to be really tuning into the Celestite energy, because all of the other crystals, all 72 other crystals, go around 4 times a year. So 4 times a year, those crystals are activated, whereas these 5 crystals are only once a year, from the 21st through the 25th of July. So Celestite is about knowing, and is about deep trust in yourself, seeing the bigger picture, communication, angelic messages. So perfect, can't make this shit up, that it happens on the new moon in Cancer. Yeah. So Celestite is calm, it's peace. So that's available energy even in the midst of this opposition where the new moon has peaked, right? So find the peace, find the stillness, be with you, go outside. And just so you know, I am more than likely going to jump on live every single one of those days, because I feel like it's really potent this year. I did it a few years ago. I jumped on every day and just sort of shared, all from the liquid crystal stuff, shared a little around each of the crystals and what you can do to just tune in, just giving you a little bit of, just some words or some wisdoms or some tools to work with for the day ahead. Okay, so just keep an eye out from the 21st to the 25th. That's probably what I'll be doing. But I just find it interesting that it's Celestite Day on that second new moon in Cancer. That's quite a big one, where a lot of people will feel triggered, or a lot of people will be, maybe, in arguments. Doesn't have to be like that. I think that when we are armed with awareness and we're forewarned, we are forearmed, aren't we? And we can channel the energy in a different way, so that we're not facing ourselves. Yeah. But it is going to be bloody wild out there. So I just wanted to share that's from the 21st to the 25th. Now the 25th is the day out of time. So garnet is the crystal for this, and this is about purpose, your manifestation of purpose. It's 1111 gateway stuff. It's Shambhala. It's highly about asking you, what do you really want? What are you manifesting? And do you even know what you want? I think that's sometimes a big thing, right? People don't know who they are or what they want. And this year is really shaking that up, so that you can know who you are and what you want. And that's why, with all the white noise that's going on, pulling away from that so you can hear your own soul speak to you, instead of being dragged into the hooks, the noise, the theories, the hate, the drama. That's a choice. Everything you do is by choice. What you share is who you are. Where your energy goes is where everything flows. So be mindful of your energy and time is precious, so precious. So watch how you're spending it, because it's a transaction. Once you spend your 24 hours in that one day, bye-bye, my friend. You never, ever, ever get them back. You can get a speeding ticket. Yeah, you can always earn that money back. You can never earn time back, ever. And that's what we're in a fucking time warp right now. We are I don't know about you, but there's some dimension hopping and some parallel universe sort of stuff, like summoning in some really big things, embodying and integrating, moving up leveling, sleeping for hours on end to, move to the next level in Jumanji. It's all there. But the thing is that your time after every day, it's like a life. Every day is another life gone. Like, that's it. Like, that's literally it. That life's gone. Next life, next day. Next life, next day. This is no dress rehearsal. This is it. This is our life. What are you creating? Where are you spending your energy, your time, your love? Yeah. So the day out of time for me is it's a sanctuary day. It's a day of being so still and absorbing, writing, nature. It's like an extra day in another dimension. It's galactic. So enjoy that day. I've been working with the main day out of time for nearly a decade now, and it's a pretty fucking magical part of my journey and what I do during the year. So I better love you and adieu. Before children get home and before you just like go, holy shit, like I'm exploding and she's still talking. Thank you for being here. We're all in this together. I feel you. I know you. I love you. We've got this. It's wild, but we've got this. And knowing who you are, not who anyone tells you to be, not the drama that you feel like you want to get caught up in. As an individual, knowing who you are and standing strong, anchored, grounded in that is where balance, clarity, freedom, liberation, joy, happiness, enlightenment, nectar, juice, deliciousness is all held. I just feel it to be this like pow. So tend, retreat like the crab, like the crab runs into his hole. Cancer season is a beautiful time to retreat, and especially this year. It's big, big times. So I wish you love. I wish you honesty. I wish you just big heart. Like my heart just whooshing oceans and oceans of healing and of light and of sweetness to you, my dear. So much love, and I will see you soon. Bye.